So this is a gadget I've been making for my MX5 to read the diagnostic ports. I got fed up with having to plug an LED in and join two of the connectors together with wires. Just underneath I've put in some pins that line up with the connectors in the diagnostic port there. So to install it, it's just a matter of lining up the pins with the just pushing it firmly into place, and then switch the ignition on, and it starts up, and then we've got a menu system here, and we've got a next, a back and a select button. So we go next, we can go down to, we can scan errors, see our recent errors, test the switches, test the fan, test the fuel pump, change which model this works for, because the codes are different for the Mark 1 and the Mark 2. So say whether we want the buzzer on or off, and find out what version number of software we're using on here. So go up to the front, to the top, scan errors. Now earlier on I disconnected a few things to get a couple of errors in the system. So I'm going to press the select on there, and then that will start scanning. You see the LED up here is flashing, showing that it's reading the codes, and then hopefully when it receives a code, now it's found one, it beeps, it carries on reading codes. And there's a second code found, and because these codes repeat, once it gets around to finding a repeat code, it says, well, I found the one I found. So we've got two codes, and that'll tell me what the code number is and actually a text description of what that is. So thermistor in airflow meter, and it's telling me that it's open or short. Now I can press on next, and that will show me the second one. Airflow meter, code 8, open or short circuit. And I can, just by pressing next, I can flip between 1 and 2, and then takes me back to the menu. And if you accidentally press back, because obviously these switches are a bit close together, you can go down to recent errors, press select, and that will bring up those codes again. So they're stored permanently in the system. And actually, even if you power it off and power it on again, those codes are still stored in there. So go back to the menu. We can also test the switches in the car. So if I press select there, it says we're testing switches. Now actually, if you can't remember what switches there are that can be tested, just by pressing next, it'll actually cycle you through there. So we've got clutch, gearbox, accelerator, etc. If you press one of the switches, for instance brake, you see there it tells me that the switch is down, the beeper goes, and off it goes again. So that'll work for all the various switches. So it makes it easier when you're doing this testing yourself, of course, with the buzzers. You can hear whether those switches are working. Go back to the menu, go down to test fan, and press the select. So all we have to do now is press and hold the select button, and that should start the fan up. So I'll just move this across to the fan that's there, press the button, the fan starts up, and release it. So fan on, fan off. Go back, and we can do the same thing for the fuel pump. So go into that. Now the fuel pump, we don't want to leave on for too long, so even if you keep your finger on the button, the maximum time this is going to stay on is 2 seconds. So we'll press that, fuel pump starts. You can test that works. Back, go down to next. This is the choosing the model, so we set that. We can choose Mark 1 or Mark 2 because the codes that it reads are slightly different for those two models. Go back to the menu, go down to next. Buzzer allows you to turn the buzzer on and off, so that's for menu options and for beeping and for anything. It's off, back, and finally next is just about, and that just tells you what version of software there is on there. Back to the menu. So you can see that's a whole lot easier, neater way of checking your error codes rather than having to count flashes on an LED and go and refer to a list of errors. It's all there, all your testing all in one little gadget.